Hey everyone, it's Neil here from Post to Post. Thanks for joining me today. We're looking at baseball logos, and not just any baseball logos, MLB logos that have been redesigned or recreated by a designer in this wonderful community. His name's Jason Ronaldo. He submitted things in the past. You guys loved it. And here we are again to look at some of his redesigned logos. And some of these are really awesome. I think you're gonna like them a lot. I have ranked these from 30 to 1. That's how we are going to go through them. 30 to 1, my least favorite to favorite. And Jason, I just appreciate you sending these in. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's look at these logos. Starting at number 30, I have put the New York Mets. So the main reason why I put this last is because I think it's a little bit too cartoony. I don't know if baseball is one of those sports that can support those cartoony logos. It's a sport that is so full of tradition and simplistic logos, mostly textual. I don't think something like this from a brand perspective, I don't think something like this would really fly in the MLB. I think this would probably be more of something like a junior team that the Mets actually sponsored. And once a year they came out and played baseball with kids and stuff. So I think it's just maybe a little bit too cartoony. It's wonderfully drawn. I just don't know if it would be for the MLB specifically. Okay, next I put the San Diego Padres, kind of for the same reason. I actually like the entire logo itself. Just side thought, I like the entire logo itself. Other than that little face that's in there, it looks like a weird bowling ball thing, and it's just a little awkwardly shaped, and I think unnecessarily cartoony face or like visual of a person. I think if you took that face out of there, that head out of there rather, it just had kind of that that palm tree that's made to look like a baseball, a baseball bat. That's incredibly clever. I love that. That is phenomenal. Having the skyline in there as well, that's very representative of San Diego, obviously, and the sun and the ocean and stuff. That's great. I just don't. I'm just not digging that cartoon figure or that cartoon head that's in the middle there. Okay, next, but the Minnesota Twins. And I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but there's obviously going to be a bit of a trend here at my least favorite ones, kind of for the same reason. This logo has dimension, which is awesome. Those guys are coming right out of the logo with the glove and then the bat on the other side. Like, that's awesome. But I think just the facial expressions and the way that their faces are drawn is almost like a newspaper kind of comic or something. It's just a little bit too cartoony for an actual MLB logo. Next up, we've got the Cincinnati Reds. So this is a little bit more professional, a little bit more, or a little bit less cartoony. Since I can't see any facial expression on the actual guy, it kind of removes that cartoon aspect of it. It removes that character aspect of it. Now it just almost looks like a mannequin a little bit, which is, I guess, maybe a new problem, but still, I like the logo overall. I would probably do without the guy on there though, or have it a little bit more modern and less mannequin-y. That's not a word, but you know what I mean. Number 26, I put the Boston Red Sox. Again, kind of for the same reason. I think there's a lot of clever aspects in this. I like the sock. Obviously, that's an iconic part of the Boston Red Sox brand. But then the little thing at the tip of the foot, or where the toes would be, basically, of the sock, that's made to look like a base, in baseball, obviously. And then he's up to bat. So there's a lot of really cool elements to this logo, but again, I think maybe even just the facial expression is a little bit too cartoony. Number 25, I put the Chicago White Sox. And I kind of like the San Diego one. I like kind of what's going on in the background. I love the fact that you can see the Sears Tower, the Willis Tower, whatever it's called now. I love that you can see that in the background. I love obviously the diamond shape that's happening. But the sock with wings feels very out of place for me. It actually doesn't even look like a sock. It looks like a cast because it's so full. There's no wrinkles to it. There's no contour. It's just a flat kind of thing that goes down. So I just see a cast. I see the Chicago white casts, not White Sox. So that's kind of my take on that one. Number 24, I put the Chicago Cubs. I think the expression helps this one a lot. It is on the border of being too cartoony for me because of the bear, but the face saves it a little bit. But still, it's a bit. I'm not sure if this would actually work. I would like to see maybe a little bit more modern design if we're putting an animal in there. I like the expression on the face. I think you nailed the eyebrows and the eyes and stuff. And I love the background. Obviously, that's iconic. Maybe just a little bit of work on the body. Maybe make it more muscular, potentially. Have it take on more of a human form, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't really want it to look like a Sasquatch, but I think you know what I mean. Okay, next, I put the Baltimore Orioles. I understand that people love that state flag, and I'm in the minority because I don't like it. It's a staple point of that state. But I just it just doesn't do it for me, and it just feels a little bit awkward. The expression on the face there, just kind of like looking off into the distance, but no specific expression, almost as like a dead head, like there's nothing going on inside. It's just kind of like there, and it's a bit off balance because the bat in one hand, but it's the rest of the entire logo is kind of all symmetrical, except for it's really weighted on the one side of the bat. So I'd almost like add something else on the other side. I don't know what it would be. Maybe a big glove or something. I'm not sure. Or a baseball. But yeah. All right. Next is it's 22nd position. I put the Los Angeles Angels. This is actually pretty cool. I could see this maybe more so as an alternate logo or something. I think the expression on the face is not concerning, but it almost looks dead in a way. Like there's just dead eyes, almost a frown in the mouth, kind of an open nose. Like there's no. It almost seems like a killer's mask or something. And the body itself, I mean, I'm overweight, okay? So I understand what overweight is like, but this person feels or looks a bit rather overweight. Like when I think of baseball players, I think of, like they're strong men. They're in shape. They've got some muscles. I don't really see that here well defined enough. So I think it's a little bit soft for a potential MLB logo. And I understand they're called the Angels, but still. The Toronto Blue Jays. So my favorite team, even though I'm wearing a Montreal hat, can't really cheer for them anymore because they don't exist. But the Blue Jays, I love the Canadian maple leaf in the background. I think that's awesome. I love the fact there's a Blue Jay sitting on a bat. That's really cool as well. Again, maybe just slightly cartoony though. The expression in the eyes, I think, is right. And I like that he's got his chest popped out. A little bit of aggression, but I still think it's just a little bit too cartoony. Number 20, I put the Yankees, and I like the aggression here. The expression on his face is awesome. He's got that classic hat. Everything's kind of contained in one thing. These bow tie or whatever you want to call that. You can see the bat going through it, but also makes up kind of his shoulder at the same time. Very clever. But I think most people would look at this and say, boomer. There's a boomer. Because he's just some old guy yelling at something or angry at something. So for that reason, I had to rank it a little bit low. Number 19, I put the Los Angeles Dodgers, one of my other favorite teams. And I like the skyline. I like the fact that it's all kind of enclosed in this big one shape. You've got the guy sliding in on the base there. So like the entire shape is really cool. I just worry about, again, maybe the face. I almost want to see... I don't see enough or I see too much. It's this weird in-between factor where I want to see more detail in the actual person or I don't want to see anything. And maybe it should just be a silhouette or something. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. Number 18, I put the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is pretty cool. I love the Diamondback in there, the snake. Very representative of Arizona, obviously. You can see the cactus in the background. And then the whole general shape kind of makes the baseball when you have those threads coming in as well. So this one's pretty nice. I feel like I've seen better Diamondbacks redesigns out there, and for that reason I kind of put it in the bottom 15. Number 17, I put the Detroit Tigers. I like the overall vibe of this one. I'm curious how this would be stitched onto something, whether it was a hat or a shirt or something. It's got this weird like negative space in between the shoulders and like the bottom of the legs. Where would there be nothing there? Would there just be regular material? How would that fold over? These are kind of the things I think about when I look at logos. How would they actually be implemented on material? And this one feels awkward in that sense. So I kind of ranked it low based on that. I know it's not really applicable to 98% of the people who would look at this logo. But then the face itself, the head almost gets lost. I almost can't see the definition of the head. I don't know where the edges are. Is that his shoulder or his body, or is that the side of his face? And I think there just maybe should be a little bit more definition to his actual head area. It kind of just gets a little bit muddy in that area. Number 16, the Colorado Rockies, another team that I really like. I like this one as well. I like the stage gradient in the background. It almost looks like northern lights or maybe like city lights or something. That's pretty cool. You've got the moon kind of shaped like a baseball with the threads in there. They've used those kind of stars in the past. So, and obviously the mountains are in there too. But so this would be a really good, I think, alternate logo. I don't know about a primary logo. I think it would look good on a hat. I think it would look good on a shirt or a jersey. But I think I like their current one more. Number 15, the Tampa Bay Rays, and I think they probably have top 3 color combinations in the league. So whenever I see one of their logos redesigned by a designer or whatever, an alternate logo, I'm always like, that's awesome. Mainly because of the colors. I really like the complementary blues together. This one's decent. I think it's weighted a little bit awkwardly though, because the baseball takes up so much of the element of the entire logo, but then so does the ray. So what's the primary element of this logo? So I just feel like there's a bit of confliction here with these two elements together. Number 14, I put the San Francisco Giants. So I think here's a situation where I can see as much as the faces that I need to see. I can see the highlight on the nose. I can see the highlight on the side of the face, and it is a cartoon, but it doesn't feel cartoony in that way. It feels very old school. Like this could have been made, 50 years ago. So, and it feels very applicable in a way, or acceptable rather is probably the better word. It feels very acceptable, where Giants fans would look at this and be like, yeah, that looks okay. It's not too modern. It's not too cartoony. So he's stepping over the Golden Gate Bridge there, which is pretty cool, and then enclosed in a diamond, but coming out of it. So the dimension within this logo is awesome. I like this one. Number 13, the Miami Marlins. Keeping it simple, and that's what I like about this. There's no other really elements other than the Marlin, and you got some, that color streak that's in there. So really, this comes down to simplicity, and I think it will look good on basically everything. So good job. Number 12, the Texas Rangers, and I went back and forth on this one quite a bit, and I was concerned that to me that looks like a woman on the horse there. Obviously, I have no issue with that. But I feel like baseball fans, it's a male-dominated sport. Obviously, I just feel like MLB players wouldn't want to have a female represented on their logo. They would want probably a big burly man, like an actual ranger, on there. I'm not saying that women can't be rangers. That's not what this is about. I'm just thinking about the perspective from an actual MLB player and from a brand perspective. They probably wouldn't advertise a female on the logo of a team that's played by males. I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. If there was a female team that was called the Rangers and they played in a female baseball league, I think this would be the perfect logo. But for that reason, I couldn't really put it in my top 10. But overall, just as a general logo, I really like it. So I've kind of fought back and forth with this one. I don't know if it worked for the MLB specifically because of what I mentioned at the beginning, but as a logo itself, I really, really like it. Number 11, the Washington Nationals. So this is a very simplistic logo with some symbolism, obviously, but I just like how some logos look really good from up close. Some logos look really bad from far away, and you have to get close to see it. I think this logo is one of those ones that would look great up close and from a distance. You kind of understand what it is even from a distance. It's designed very simplistically. The baseball at the bottom there, almost orbiting the Capitol building. So yeah, I like this one. Number 10, the Philadelphia Phillies. Again, very simple logo. You're kind of having that obviously applicable shape to the baseball as the main shape of the logo. And then the Liberty Bell that's in there, the skyline of Philadelphia. So this is a very well put together logo that is not trying to be super modern. It's just basically like this would be the perfect logo or alternate, I think. Number 9, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, it is cartoony, and I kind of not really made fun, but I was critical of a lot of the ones near the beginning of the video that I ranked low. So why am I ranking this one's up so high, even though it is a little bit cartoony? And I think it's because it has like true aggression, or it has character with it. It has almost emotion with it. It's creepy. It's it's a little like gross. The skull and cracks in the face and stuff. But then this like creepy eye kind of looking through the other thing. It's something that's dead that's alive at the same time, and that kind of gives it personality and kind of emotion. So I'd like that, and I think this would look really cool on a hat or a t-shirt or something. Number 8, I put the Kansas City Royals. Again, kind of goes in line with the Phillies logo. This one, with the Royals, just a simple logo. I think it would look great. I think it's classic enough to totally fit within the MLB. They love their traditions. They love their simplicity, and this is a really good example. Number 7, the Oakland Athletics, and it's definitely not the best redesigned logo I've seen from the Athletics, but I genuinely like it a lot. It's a unique color combination in the MLB and actually most sports. And yeah, I like it. I like the we're talking baseball, so there's a circle, obviously, that's represented in the background with the threads in there. And then you've got a kind of an aggressive creature or an elephant in there, so that's nice to see. Number 6, the Cleveland Indians. Obviously, there's lots of controversy around that name. Are they going to rebrand? Should they rebrand? Well, what would they be called? Maybe they don't, maybe you don't rename them, but you change the logo or something. So we've been through multiple variations of this with the Redskins and the Edmonton Eskimos, and there's a bunch of stuff happening. But the Cleveland Indians, I think they probably will be renamed at some point, but this logo, even if they were renamed something to still pay respect to Native Americans, this logo, I think, would be very good. You're paying respect in there, but you're also celebrating the city, and also you have baseball elements in there as well. So I think Jason did a really good job of kind of, I was going to say capitalizing on everything. Really good job and closing all of the important details kind of into one graphic or one logo. So I like that. Number 5, I put the Seattle Mariners. And again, it's just simple, right? Like there's not much to it because there doesn't need to be much to it. It's that this would be the perfect baseball logo. And I know that a lot of baseball logos are very textual, and every single one of these are not textual. So this is what I like. I don't really like typical baseball logos that are textual. I like these ones. So if I'm going to see a baseball logo that's not textual, it's almost has to be simple for me to really like it. Some of the really super complex ones they just don't fit the branding of the entire MLB for me personally. But yeah, anyway, I like this one. It's simple. It makes sense. You know exactly what it is. Number 4, the Atlanta Braves. This is an odd one. It almost looks like an alcoholic label or something, or you go to buy vodka and it's a manufacturer or brand that you've never heard of, but it looks cool. It almost looks like Nordic is maybe not Nordic. Nautical, that's the word I'm looking for, nautical. It almost looks nautical in a way, but then you've got that tomahawk in there, whatever you want to call it, axe. And so it kind of like the blue and the red look good together, but they're coming at opposite angles. So it's a really neat logo. I actually like it quite a bit. Number 3, the Houston Astros. Okay, so my name's Neil. I was named after Neil Armstrong. Anytime you're going to throw anything to do with space or NASA or astronauts or whatever into a logo, I'm gonna like it. That's just fact. And even removing that little bit of biased viewpoint there, this is a nice logo. It really is. The colors are complementary, which is why they have one of the best brands in the league. Regardless of what you think about their team and their history and the things that they've done, doesn't matter. I like their brand a lot. And this one is just simple. You can see the star in there, which is important for Texas. In the background, you've got the astronaut in there, your Space City. So yeah, this is a really good redesigned, simple logo. Number 2, I put the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's a bit of a comical logo in a way, having that little helmet on there, and then the crossed baseball bats in the background. That isn't really comical, but just you're personalizing something, or you're characterizing something that doesn't really have a character, or it doesn't have a personality. So that's neat. I like to see that. The colors obviously look great together. I'm curious to know from Brewers fans, though, if there are any out there watching, how do you feel about this one? I was kind of on the fence with your perspective of it. I like it, but I almost thought that maybe Brewers fans wouldn't like this. So I'm very curious to hear from specifically Brewers fans about this one. And number 1, I put the St. Louis Cardinals. For me, this one just had everything. Number 1, it represents the city. Number 2, the general shape of it is in the baseball. Number 3, there is a baseball element. You've got the stitching in there for the baseball, and the whole logo itself is white, and the stitching is red, which is obviously representative of an actual literal baseball. And then you've got their kind of mascot, or the Cardinal, the team name in there. So this logo for me had everything. It is a bit busy, but it has everything. The Cardinals' expression looks maybe like a little bit shocked, so I maybe would have preferred just a slight more aggression to the expression in the eyes. But overall, like, I thought this logo was fantastic. It was definitely my favorite. So, Jason, thank you so much for sending these in. And guys, I would love to hear back from you. What was your favorite down below in the comment section? Why was it your favorite? Is there anything that you didn't really like? If you have any feedback for Jason, please leave that in the comment section below. We know when the designers send stuff in, it's good exposure for them because they get their work out there, but it's also really good to get feedback from people as well, and that'll help them in the future when they go to redesign more things. If they read a comment and they're like, I didn't really like this, I would have preferred it if you did it this way, they could look at that and hopefully not be offended, and hopefully take constructive criticism, look at it, and think about that in the future when they go to design something. So these reviews of these logos are kind of important that way, not from my perspective, but from kind of all the viewers' perspective in the comment section. It's really beneficial for the designers. So if you have a couple of minutes, we'd love it for you to leave a comment down below on some of the designs or your favorites or whatever for Jason. So again, thanks Jason for sending those in. I appreciate you. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. Please hit the subscribe button down below for videos exactly like this, and I'll talk to you later. Adios.